Good morning. It's Tuesday, May 21st, and something is happening in this year that hasn't happened before. More people are retiring than ever before, and this retirement situation has sparked a gold rush for the entire retirement industry. Now, the retirement industry involves where you have put your money, how you have saved for your retirement, and there have been many changes in that industry. Some of them good, some of them not so good. Because when I was growing up, if you had a job, you could have a pension for life. But pensions have disappeared. You get a pension probably only in the government jobs, if we call it a pension. Now in private industry, you don't get pensions. You get a 401k. And a 401k is something that you yourself probably have to manage. And that can be a difficult task for 90% of those who are about to retire. Most people are not necessarily savvy in managing their money, in preparing for their retirement. And I speak from experience because when I was running a company, we had a nice 401 deal for the employees. If they were willing to put in a certain amount of money into this 401k that we would set up for them, then the company would match up to 10% of what they contributed. But many people that I spoke to in the office when I was going around to make sure that everybody knew what was going on with those 401ks, I got many people who refused to enter the plan. And when I asked why, they simply said they couldn't afford it. They couldn't afford to take a certain amount of money out of their salary. They were living hand to mouth. Now, many of the people who I'm talking about were professionals. They were computer scientists and things like that. That particular group of people usually went into some 401k type plan because they were making a good buck. The average worker, the people who worked in the warehouse and were the lower paid employees, constantly said they didn't make enough money to put any money away. And that was a shame. Now, our lower paid employees were not running at the lowest end of the pay scale. They were making a decent salary, but they didn't have the mental acuity to realize that if you took 10% of your salary away constantly, you could adjust to living on that amount. You could put a lot of money away for your future. But it didn't work out. People don't think like that. Now, if you're lucky enough to have a union job, you'll be probably safe in this environment because unions will have sponsored annuities, an insurance product that pays out in income. And usually unions have a pension plan. So if you belong to a union, in many cases you have a double-barreled approach that you can use for retirement. So this type of situation, which is called defined benefit pensions, the burden of and investing for retirement falls not on the employee, but on the employer. Now, with this responsibility falling on the employer, you have to make sure that they are doing their job. I have heard of one case where the company went bankrupt and all of the employee pension money was gone. But that's a very rare instance, but it still says to me, if you're involved in that situation, you have to pay attention to what's going on and have a good look at your money and maybe periodically move it someplace to keep it entirely safe. So now if you're not working in a union shop or you're not working for the government, you're probably dependent upon taking care of your own savings for the future. And in doing so, you will probably get involved in what is known as a 401k plan. And right now, Americans currently hold over $7 trillion in 401k plans. Now, with a country this size, $7 trillion really doesn't sound like that much money to me to be buried away in 401ks. Seems to me that the number should be large, but I haven't done all the math on that, so it's just an impression that I've got. But it also indicates to me, as I said before, that most people are not paying real good attention to their future, and they're not saving properly even when they have a 401k plan, because it's up to the employer, it's up to them to put the money into that plan and to do it on a regular basis and not to scrimp from one month to the other. And many people aren't able to adequately save for retirement. There's a mental acuity required to be dedicated to that, and many people don't have the wherewithal, the fortitude to stick it out and pay a certain amount of money every month or every week into these retirement accounts. So the average retiree's monthly check this year from Social Security is only about $1,900. So if you're looking at Social Security, you better have a good job that was paying a lot of money into Social Security. And even that is not going to be great when you retire, because the highest amount of money that you can have at retirement is about $48,000. But most people are going to fall at $1,915 a month. That's hardly enough to live well in this country. So you have to figure out a way to save. And millions of employees don't have workplace savings plans, I mentioned before. It's all falling on their shoulders. And they don't really know what to do. They don't have the experience. They're not talking to the right people. So I can safely say that nearly 50% of the people don't have any money saved in a retirement account. And that's according to the Federal Reserve data. And that's a shame. You work your whole life. You get to be 65, you get to be 68, you get to be 70. And you find out you don't have enough money to live. You got to keep working till they bury you. That's not good. So anybody out there that hasn't paid attention has to start doing their homework. And their homework starts when they really have a good job. In their 30s, maybe even before then. But surely in your 30s, you've got to figure out what you're going to be doing in your 60s and 70s and 80s. Remember, we're living a long time in this country. Many of us are older than they ever expected to be. So retirement savings is a tricky business. It's dependent on you, and it's also dependent on the places where you choose to put your money. So I leave you with that this morning. I hope that all of you out there are satisfied with your retirement situation and that you have taken good care of yourself. If not, it's time to get rolling, baby. Very quick. Have a great day. Bye.